What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about these Jenna Ortega rumors yet again for Scream 7. They are getting out of control. To be quite honest with you, I'm very, very tired of them. And actually, it's what I said on Twitter, where let's just get this actor strike over with, because it is going to get exciting. It is going to pick up, I think, really quickly in terms of human beings, like literal people. You can like write names on papers and like throw around rumors as we are, with individuals, but these are people that are going to have to be moved around the world. They're filming one thing and they're going to have to jump to the next thing, and it's going to happen really quickly because everything's just going to get restarted very, very fast, right? So we've talked a lot about Tara and a lot about, I guess, Jenna Ortega herself leading into Scream 7, and so the newest wave of things that we have is on scripts, and this is actually coming from yesterday in terms of multiple versions of Scream. I have a lot to say about that, but then we also have today's stuff, which has been reported that she actually is like locked in for Scream 7. It was, I think, The Wrap or something had talked about Wednesday, season 2, as well as Scream 7. So she seems to be locked in, but like I don't read that as she's locked in as a main role. I see that as she'll film it, but how much will she film? I don't know. And again, we've talked about this if you have her for a limited time, and I do want to bring that back up because the idea of killing Tara off obviously has come up quite a bit the last couple days. I have some thoughts on that. So let's start with the rumor of the different scripts. Okay, let's read out the tweet first. So this is an individual. The person's name is Chandler Edwards, and I believe what Critical Overlord has heard is kind of correct. A limited role is most likely the best case scenario for Jenna's screen time in Scream 7, but Paramount has a version of this movie with 0 Tara in it, one with Tara as the lead, and one with no Tara at all. No decision will be 100% made into after the strike. No one, not even Ortega herself, has a concrete schedule. Now, when I first read this, I didn't think about this. This person had to have written that wrong, right? Because a version with 0 Tara in it, a version with her as the lead, and then a version with her not at all. Isn't no Tara in it and Tara not at all? Those are the same things, right? So what I think they meant to say is a script with Tara in it a ton, a script with Tara in it a little, and then a script without Tara at all. I think that's what the person means, although I don't know that for sure because they just wrote it wrong. So you could just maybe mark that down if you're kind of keeping score here. Okay, in terms of what this could mean going forward, well, again, I don't think the Wrap thing today with her committing to Scream 7, I don't really think that changes at least that second, or maybe like the first and second part of this, right? If she has a major role or if she has a small role. Now, we've talked about this. Do you kill her off? So I saw like Beyond the Masks tweet, and he certainly riled people up, right, in terms of extreme reactions to it. Look, if you kill Tara in the beginning, I think that does make sense in terms of what you've established so far. We've talked about what that would do to Sam's mental state. And I think that's really important. Well, Tara is, I think, a very powerful character, and Jenna Ortega has name recognition and all that stuff. Sam is without a doubt the main lead of the newest trilogy, okay? That is the way it is. I don't really see that changing with this movie. Even if Sydney comes back and she's almost a co-lead, I still think it's mainly Sam's movie. Or you could just say that out, Sam's movie, okay? So I want Tara in this. I want Tara in it a lot. And I would like to see them do, if you could get it, like how you did in Scream 6, where you had Sam and Tara being like dual leads. If you could do that again in 7 and also have Sydney and you could have like a trio, if that's possible, I would prefer that. However, if you are going to take her out, I do think that makes sense. It wouldn't be nuts because you've done it with, like, obviously the Drew Barrymore thing is something that people are going to bring up. You've done that before. Obviously, that was a different era. It was different people. It was a different creative team. It was literally different entirely. At the same time, the only thing that's similar is a big name. You wouldn't really expect it, and they did it. And the movie didn't suffer, right, because of it. So that's another thing. Like, killing her off, I do think it wouldn't destroy the movie, potentially, because there's no for sure, right? But another thing to kind of throw out there when reading that thing, again, this is assuming that the person wrote it wrong, and there's 3 scripts, okay? That's what I'm thinking. There's 3 scripts for this movie. That's a lot. That's a lot. I've talked about it before, and I always like to throw it in. It could just be a me thing, but some people have expressed that they're the same. I like purity, okay? When a filmmaker or writer, whatever it may be, when they have their vision, I always want to see it. I want to see because if it fails, you can blame them. They're the reason, like you could follow the line. If it doesn't fail, then you also know, or it succeeds, right? Thinking optimistically, you know who to give credit to. When the studio steps in and when things change, or a situation like this. See, here's how I view it. When they're writing the script for Scream 7, they have a vision. Or when they wrote 5 and 6, even when they wrote 6, they had a vision, I assume, for as many characters as possible from 6 into 7. They hopefully would know what Mindy's going to do, what Chad's going to do, what Sam or Tara, right? You kind of have to have an end goal. Otherwise, if you don't have an ending and you say, well, we're just kind of going to go like one movie at a time, we really don't know how this thing ends. That reminds me of Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, and that didn't end very well. So I'd prefer them to have a plan. So where I'm at is if you want Tara to be in it like the full time, you now have to create 2 alternate movies, 2 alternate versions of what you want the movie to be. You have to make 2 more. And they're not going to be pure. They're not going to be what you want. You have to kind of work with it. Now, I'm sure there's push and pull all the time. I doubt you can get literally every single thing you want. But I mentioned this, I've talked about this before, even with like Sydney in Scream 3, even you can go back to, right? Like, what does a Scream 3 look like where Nev doesn't have just 3 weeks to film, right? Like, what does that look like? And you'll never know. But it's almost like, well, what if? What if? And that's kind of what I'm thinking here as well. But that does actually, inadvertently, I didn't even plan it this way, does bring you to the last thing. So obviously people are riled up one way or the other about, Tara dying. Her having a limited schedule, her having Tara not being in the movie all that much, and it's been pointed out online, and it's true, does not have to mean she's killed in the beginning. Like, that's definitely something we all have to remind ourselves of every little while. I know the opening kill is so iconic and it's such a big, legendary part of a Scream movie, so it's the first thing you go to. I get it. I understand that. At the same time, like I just said, like Nev Campbell didn't have a lot of time to film Scream 3. She wasn't the opening kill. They worked with it, and they put her in as much as humanly possible in those 3 weeks of filming, right? Or 20, whatever it was, 20 days, 19 days. So if Jenna Ortega has a month that she can film, you do what you can do. She's going to have to be separated from people a lot, I assume. You're going to have to wait on certain things. You're going to have to use her to her fullest or most full potential when she's on set. Like, you just work with it. So I think you can do it. Like, I don't think it's impossible. If she's only there for a month, she doesn't have to be an opening kill. She can be throughout the movie. She could be heavy in the second half of the movie. She could be part of the final act. Like, whatever you want to do, there's no you must kill her because she can only be there for a few weeks. That is not true. That's not true at all. And I hope, obviously, they've thought about it, right? At least I hope they thought about it. But it's interesting. Again, I do want it to stop. Like, I want to stop speculating about 15 different scripts and if Tara's in it or if she's not, or if Sydney's in it or if she's not. Let's just, like, get, like, and it's not like us. We can't do anything. Get the freaking acting strike over with, and let's get to those people, not us. We'll get to work, I guess, when they get to work. But they need to get on it. And then obviously things are going to kind of fall into place. That's just the way it's going to be. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turn on, and hope to see you all on the next one.